The Leap Foundation proudly presents the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman. Dr. Bill is a TV host, New York Times best-selling author, two-time Guinness World Book record holder, fitness guru, celebrity cosmetic dentist, and philanthropist who founded the Leap Foundation. Here's Dr. Bill.
Okay, we're about to do a new Meet the Mentor with somebody that you haven't met yet, and she has a brand new idea for business that I think you're going to like. It's pretty exciting. But before we do this, we're super excited for Leap. Okay, confirmed. Shay Mitchell from Pretty Little Liars, and she opened up a fantastic line of luggage. I think it's the #1 luggage line at Nordstrom's. Paula Abdul, as always. Rob Deirdrick, the skateboard champion. Chris Voss is coming. He is the FBI negotiator and the #1 speaker on a billion different platforms. He's amazing. Who else do we have? Ron White, the memory expert. And I feel like I'm missing. Oh, Bev D'Angelo. And you've seen her in every single Christmas movie. She's a riot and she's coming as well. So, and hopefully Amy Adams, if she's not filming that week, she'll be there as well. What's Leap? Leap is an entrepreneurship program that will be at UCLA July 16th to the 22nd this year, where we teach young students the skills that they need to be successful in life. And it works. We have some of our amazing students coming back this year speaking that have gone off and done the craziest thing. I can't remember the name of the show. Charlie will tell me when it gets back. But we have Ethan coming. He makes these little demolition machines that like crack up other machines. I don't know. Have you seen this thing, Allie? It's crazy. It's a big TV show, and he won. His little machine chewed up all the other machines. I mean, but we've got some other great guys. We have Giorgio coming. Giorgio, I met when I spoke in the UK. He's actually a dental student who is a huge model for D Squared and launched this huge career, but wants to be a dentist while he's doing all this. And my sweet daughter, Georgie, is coming back, who started up her own clothing line called All My Love for young women. And she's going to kind of bring you through the trials and tribulations of what she's gone through in building up her new line. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Allie Nichols. She is the co-founder of Getaway. It's an innovative real estate product that allows individuals to invest in rental properties for as little as 5% down. Yes, 5% down. And prior to founding Getaway, Allie spent 4 years as an executive at Bungalow, a technology-enabled residential real estate company. During her time at Bungalow, Allie ran numerous business functions, including operations, growth, marketing, sales, and real estate. She spearheaded raising and operating a $700 million real estate fund focused on acquiring single-family rentals. So she has a lot of background in this area. Prior to Bungalow, Allie was a strategy and planning senior manager at Uber and a consultant at MBI. She holds a Bachelors of Science from Carnegie Mellon University, and we give you a huge Leap welcome to our show. How are you, Allie?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
I'm good. Okay, so why did you start Getaway?
Oh, such a great question. So I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a little kid, but at the same time, I've always been obsessed with real estate. So I think throughout my career, I was finding ways to get closer and closer to bringing those two aspects together. And I was really fortunate to start my career in the tech industry and learned all about startups and what it was like to be in these like early stage companies that are growing so fast and solving such big problems in the world. But then I really wanted to pair that back with the real estate side. And so my time at Bungalow, which you had mentioned in the intro, really gave me the insights of like, this is how you can actually start a company. Here's all of the experience on the real estate side I'd need that I just felt like it was the right moment to take all my experience from both the tech world and the real estate side and give it a chance on my own and live out my childhood dream.
That's awesome. Okay. So just so that we are all on the same page and we understand exactly how this works. Today, if I were to buy a house, I would probably have to put at least 20% down, and, and I could do it on my own. But let's say I'm, a young graduate, I've saved a little bit of money, and I'd like to get into, real estate. Let's kind of walk through what Getaway does. So let's say, just hypothetically, we're going to buy a piece of property for $100,000 in Ohio. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Walk me through this. Now, your sweet spot is between $100,000 and about $500,000 for these rental properties. So this isn't for me to buy a house to live in. This is for me to get an income bearing property, correct?
Exactly. And I can't stress this enough. The sooner, no one's ever looked back and said, I wish I started later in buying real estate. So if that's something that interests anyone listening, like the sooner you start, the better off you'll be.
I'm going to tell you something. Tomorrow, you're going to get 3 phone calls from Charlie, Georgie, and Anna. Those are my 3 daughters. And we've been saving a little bit of money with them, and I'm going to have them call you, and you're going to find properties for them to start.
I love it. Perfect.
Oh, no, I'm totally serious, because you're right. I mean, it's like one of those things like, nobody on their deathbed ever said, I should have worked harder. It's like, I should have spent more time with my family. And all right, so walk us through this. So you're going to help me find a piece of property in Ohio. It's $100,000, right? So what do I do and what do you do?
Yep. So you would come to us and say, here's my budget. Here's how much money I want to invest. And then our team will go out and help you identify the best opportunity within what we call in our world a buy box, which just means your investment criteria, where, how much, what type of asset or property we're buying. And then from there, we would find the best deal on the market for you. And the unique thing about what we do compared to all of the other companies out there is we actually will come in and invest alongside you on the deal, which then reduces the amount of capital or cash out the door you have to spend on day one to buy the property.
Okay, stop. I already love you. I'll tell you why I love you. I do a lot of real estate deals with my 2 best friends, right? And every deal I go into, I honestly know nothing about the deal. I just know A, I trust them, and B, they put in as much money as I do. So I feel good about it because I'm like, they're not going to lose their money, right? So I love that you're investing with me. So if this is $100,000 home, right? And I only have to put 5% down, I'm putting down $5,000. As a $20,000 down payment, you guys are then going to put in $15,000. So I put in $5,000, you put in $15,000. Now what happens?
And now we're off to the races. We buy the property, and then we partner together to operate the property as a rental, really trying to maximize rental income and the revenue coming in. And over a 5-year period, you can start to buy us out of the deal. So whether you want to do that in monthly increments because you have extra cash flow from the property, or let's say, you came into a bonus at work and you're like, I'm going to put more money into that property. So it gives you an opportunity to buy it a little bit slower over time.
Right.
You've locked into that original price point, which is a huge benefit when it comes to real estate. And then eventually when you buy us out 100% of, in this example, the $15,000, you own the property and all of the cash flow and revenue 100% outright forever until you choose to sell it.
All right. So let's back up. Okay. So I put in 5,000, you put in 15,000. Now we own this property, right?
Yep.
We have a renter in there, right? So realistically, how much could I rent $100,000 house for in Ohio on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so we really target properties that are high yielding or high rate of return in terms of the rental income to purchase price. So for $100,000 home in Ohio, we'd be looking for opportunities where, we could rent that for close to $1,000 a month. And sometimes what we'll find is you can buy a duplex, so two houses under one roof around that like $100,000 to $150,000 range. And because you have two addresses, now the rent is double. So even though rent might be, $600 a side, now all of a sudden that property is making $1,200 a month.
Okay, so let's pretend in this fake little scenario we're making that we're collecting $1,200 a month in rent. Okay.
Okay.
The mortgage is $85,000, right? Or sorry, is $80,000 because we put $20,000 down. So we have a mortgage payment of how much every month?
My mental math, that's tough to do. Give me 1 second. So we said 80,000 times the interest rates right now.
Right.
So your mortgage payment would be around $450 a month.
Okay. So I'm bringing in $1,200 a month and I'm paying out $450, right? So that means, let's see, 12. So I'm making what, $750 a month
left over from after the mortgage. But now we have property taxes, we have insurance, and then there's usually some other kind of maintenance reserve that you want to fund. So in general, I usually say that's about 30%. So in this case, let's say that's another, what is that? In this instance, that would be 400.
Right.
So now we have 350 realistically in profit.
Okay. So basically I'm going to be getting that. And if I take that $350 and paid it to you guys on a monthly basis, recurring, just for fun, how long would it take me to pay off the $15,000? So divide $15,000 by 300.
That would take 42 months, which is how many years? So 3.5 years.
Yeah. Wow. Voila.
And
That's
then you
awesome.
own it outright. Yeah.
Okay. Crazy question. What happens if there's like a leak? Oh, I guess I have insurance for that. But let's say just like a toilet breaks and it's like, I don't know, $600 to repair. That comes out of my pocket, right?
It does. So when
100%, even though you guys are in the beginning are part owners.
Yep. So really like the ongoing operations, like you should view it as you own the property the whole time. So you own the responsibilities of the property, but we do require what's called a reserve fund, where upfront we'll put away a specific amount of capital or dollars. So in case things like that happen, we have access to a small fund of money to cover those things that pop up. And the nice thing is the property manager can just tap into that if something happens. Let's say you live in California and your house is in Ohio. It's really critical that you have a great property manager.
Yeah. And do you guys help find that? Because I don't know anybody in Ohio.
Yeah, we do all of it for you. So we'll help find, we have, property managers we partner with in most major cities that we've, vetted and trust and work with our product. And then we can oversee the communication on all of that and really kind of be your partner as long as we're part of the deal. And then as we, as you buy us out and it becomes 100% your property, you can decide if you want to keep working with us in certain capacities or not.
That's awesome. All right. So we're going to switch gears for a second. I love what you do, and I think it's super exciting. How did you get to where you are? Like, if I want to have a career like yours and stop doing dentistry, Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, it's funny because I think throughout my career, I've always thought about, making sure the next move was a strategic one. And so I had mentioned earlier, like I knew I always wanted to end up in something in the real estate space. It's like I live and breathe this stuff. I joke like I'm on Redfin and Zillow constantly. And so I started out, out of college in consulting, which is like the classic, you don't know what you want to do with your life, so go be a consultant. And instantly like saw that all my friends, I lived in San Francisco at the time, all my friends were working at these tech companies. And I was like, oh, I have to get into tech. I'm going to do this no matter what. So that was my first decision. I was like, I saw an industry that I thought was really cool. It was, on its way up. It was really becoming amazing. And the companies that were in San Francisco at the time were just incredible. And so I did everything in my power to get a job at Uber. I applied to 60 different roles and I had 59 no's, but it only took one yes.
That's awesome. That's a leap story. I love that.
It was just, I knew I wanted to work at Uber. I thought that the idea of pushing a button and getting a ride at the time, like when I went to college, we did not have that. And it just changes the way you can interact with the city and be safe and things like that. So I was obsessed with getting a role there. A conscious decision. I could have taken another job somewhere else, but I decided, no, this is the company I want to do, and I'm not going to give up until I get there. And then my time at Uber, I loved, again, being in the tech world, but I still had this passion for real estate. I had no real estate on my resume. So what did I do? I worked my way into the Uber real estate team so that I could start learning some of, kind of the chops of the trade. And though that was corporate real estate, so a different kind than I do today, it gave me that experience on my resume to then use to go to my next role, which was another startup, but in the real estate space. And it was a tech real estate company. And so, I could parlay or use that experience from Uber to say, hey, I know just enough. Give me a chance at this other startup. And then that really gave me the opportunity to shine and build so many skills by going to an early stage company, because you get so much autonomy and get to take over so many different projects and teams and things like that I built the skill set to say, okay, now I'm ready to do this on my own.
I love that. I love that. We have a part of Leap called 15 Minutes of Wisdom. They're like mini TED Talks. Are you anywhere near the LA area?
I'm actually in Miami, Florida now.
Oh, you live in Miami? Well, if you decide to come to LA anytime between July 16th and the 21st, I would love to have you do that. Let me know. I mean, Leap is a dynamic program, and we always say it's a live show, so we can throw you in. So if you end up in LA, I'd love to put you in front of the students and have you talk about this.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Yeah, I think advice to anyone listening, it's just think about where you want to end up and how does your next move help you get there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect right away, but if you can get one step closer to that end goal, it's worth doing.
Totally. If students want to find out more about Getaway, how do they do that?
Yes. So you can check us out at getaway.co, so .co, no M. And then you can always add me on LinkedIn. It's just Allie Nichols. You'll find me. And I wish I could say my Twitter was more active, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I don't really do anything on Twitter. Mine's all on Instagram. So.
Oh, interesting. Instagram's a good channel too.
For me, for dental, Instagram is phenomenal. I get a lot of patients.
Twitter has definitely become the platform for venture capital. So
really?
as a VC backed company, it's where you're supposed to be.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, thank you. That was amazing and very informative. And hopefully we can have you at Leap. Oh, by the way, what was the show Ethan was on with the smashing things? battle boxes. Box, bot or box? Battle bot. So it was a little robots that eat and crunch each other, but it's amazing. Anyhow, Allie, thank you so much. Dr. Bill, over and out.
To learn more about the Leap Foundation, go to leapfoundation.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Leap Foundation or on Instagram at Leap Foundation. Listen to the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.